In this video, we'll be making cabbage dumpling using Napa cabbages, my Amma's favorite. It is a great option for vegetarians and vegans. The ingredients we need are Napa cabbage, green onion, and all-purpose flour. Next, add a half teaspoon of salt to the flour and mix. For this recipe, we need to make a medium soft dough. I use half whole wheat and half all-purpose flour. You can also only use all-purpose flour, but mixing in half whole wheat will have more nutritional value and give the dumpling an earthy taste. Then, add warm or room temperature water depending on the environment's temperature. If it is during winter, use lukewarm water. And if it's summer, use room temperature water. Mix the water and flour very well and knead to form a ball. Once the ball is formed, cover the dough and let it rest for 20 minutes so that the gluten develops. Meanwhile, cut the cabbage. Take off the white part of the cabbage stem, which is stiff and tough. We are only needing to use the green part of the cabbage to have tender veggie dumplings. Cut the green parts into fine pieces whichever way you want. You can also use a food processor to do this part if you have one. After cutting all the cabbage, put a tablespoon of salt and let it sit for 10 minutes. Adding salt at this step will remove water from the cabbage so that the dumpling sheets will not be soaked by the excess water. Mince a few stems of green onion for extra flavor. After all the cutting, check back on the dough. The gluten strands will have formed, and now just knead the dough for a few minutes or until it becomes smooth. Cover the dough again and it is ready for rolling when the filling is ready. Now, move back to the cabbage and squeeze out the excess water. Heat up some oil and add the minced green onion and some white pepper on the top of the cabbage. Pour in the hot oil on top of the green onion. The hot oil will help the green onion to release more aroma and lock the water of the cabbage. Mix everything well. Take out the dough and roll it into an elongated shape. And cut it into a few equal pieces depending on the amount of dough you have. Then, work with one piece at a time and put the rest under a cover to prevent from drying. Roll each piece into a cylinder shape that is about 1.5 cm in diameter. Cut the cylinder further into equally smaller pieces. Coat these smaller pieces with some all-purpose flour. Try to shape them as circular as possible, then press each one with your palm to make it into a disc. Next, grab one disc-shaped dough and start rolling from the middle out to the edges by leaving it flat on the cutting board. Once it formed into a bigger disc, use one hand to lift half of it off the board and continue to flatten the edges in the circular motion. This step will help the disc to have a thinner outer edge and a thicker center. It doesn't have to be perfect disc. Don't stress if you're needing to go slow. Next, place some cabbage filling on the disc. Fill as much as you can while still being able to close the sheet. Now, start at the right side of the edge and try to press the two edges of the sheet by pinching them together. No need to make any folding. Once the entire sheet gets stuck together, it will somewhat look like a half moon. Place the dumplings in the steamer. To avoid sticking to the steamer, use oil to coat the surface that is going to be in contact with the steamer, or place parchment paper with some holes underneath. Now, steam the dumplings for 10 minutes on high flame. During this time, prepare a dipping sauce. You can use any dipping sauce, but I recommend a tomato sauce. You can find out how to make one in my cheese momo video. I also like to use a vinegar plus chili oil sauce. Normally, the sauce is made with more vinegar than soy sauce, but you can mix in the ratio based on your taste. I use a 5:1 ratio of vinegar and soy sauce. After 10 minutes, remove the dumpling from the flame and it is ready to be served. This dish tastes the best when served hot out of the steamer, but you can also store the leftovers in the refrigerator and later can give the dumpling a slight stir fry to give a crispy taste.